And it's Sony's new acquisition fuels PlayStation's aggressive cloud gaming ambitions. This is from Tuktan. Tuktan is a very famous technical computer website which talks about hardware like motherboards and RAM and that sort of stuff. Sony's latest acquisition should influence and propel its gaming streaming capabilities, potentially help solidify PS Plus game streaming delivery to mobile devices. Right? Sony Interactive Entertainment will soon purchase iSize, a UK-based company that has developed technologies around making video delivery more efficient. Basically, we've talked about this sort of on and off over the last year or so. You should know Adam is a good example, right? As he's streaming now, right, to Twitch, to Facebook, to YouTube, he can see the bitrate that he's streaming at, right? And the bitrate should be a few megabytes a second or some. I think OBS displays it as KBS, or kilobytes per second, right?
You're at 2.6 megabytes a second currently.
So 2.6 megabytes a second, right? And actually, that is below the standard of what you would consider HD officially, right? For example,
Thanks, my internet.
when I download these videos, typically my video will be the largest size. Antoine's will be pretty large, and Adam's usually will be about okay, about a similar size. But streaming video and video in general, the high quality you are, the more bandwidth you need. And that's a problem when you're around the world, when you're on your phone, and when you're not in Asia, you have limitations on your cell phone plan. Here in Taiwan, you pay about $20 to $30 a month, depending on your provider, for unlimited 5G. So 5G means anything above 200 megabytes per second. So you could go anywhere from 300 to a gig per second. And that's great. So 5G is wonderful. You can stream 4K gaming to a mobile device like a big 17-inch tablet from Samsung. I was going to say Sony for some reason. But that is a problem. So basically what Sony's acquisition is doing is they're going to be able to compress the data, just like what Netflix does. That's why Netflix is number one, why they're better than Disney Plus, why they're better than Hulu, why they're better than everyone else, because they started all those time ago and they invested in the infrastructure, in the algorithms that compress the data. And it looks like Sony's going to be doing the same thing with iSize. iSize has some really cool technology to take 50 gigabytes of streaming data, which would be about a Blu-ray size of data, and compress that down to 10 gigabytes of data, which is awesome, right? I mean, it's not going to suck up your data plan if you do have one. And if you are streaming and gaming, you game for 20, 30 minutes, and that's going to be less data. And while I know the guys might disagree with this, I think this bodes well for the future of all gaming, including mine, where in the future, I don't need to buy a computer. I just have a device on my TV and I plug my controller into my TV and I just stream directly that way. And that's the future that Microsoft's going for. And maybe Sony's now going to try and take a leg up on that and say, hey, let's build the infrastructure first. This is going to be a long 5 to 10 year play like Netflix was. Like Netflix started out with like mail your order DVDs, and they slowly behind the scenes built up server infrastructure around the world. And they were the first person to offer streaming TV in 136 countries in the world, whereas Hulu and Amazon Prime were like, oh my God, how are we going to catch up? And they still haven't caught up, which is why Netflix is where it is today. And I guess I'm not a fan of anybody, right? But if Sony can do it, I think that would be the big cash cow for them to generate ARR, right, which is annually recurring revenue, for the foreseeable future and become a company that can compete with the likes of Microsoft and other big companies. And that's it.
Then I'm going to do my Nostradamus, look into my crystal ball, and I can tell you that the future generation of gaming, based on what you said, you all know, of course, the Amazon TV stick, Fire Stick. That would be your console. You put it with all compressed games and everything, stick it behind your TV, take your pad, and that's it. Because the smart TVs, you say you have smart TVs, but they still have an Amazon Fire Stick because smart TV is not really smart. I have an old TV, but still. And the stick does everything. And yeah, if you want to play games on your TV, I don't think the smart TV concept would work, but stick it behind your HDMI port behind, and that's it. So yes, I think you're right. It's going to be a big cash cow if Sony can do that. You develop their Sony game stick, put it on your TV, and that's it.
Adam?
No, it's definitely going to go there eventually. I just think it's a ways out. As you can see, right now, my internet is we are now broadcasting at 2.5 megabytes a second because my internet is not that great. And until it is, I would never want to be streaming gaming on something like that And until it was available to me where I could get a pretty good, because also it's not just me using the internet, it's my wife also who's using the internet for work or for watching her videos. And we don't have kids, but if you have a family in a house and everybody's on the internet, that's going to be, so you need to find a way to have internet accessible to everyone worldwide, basically anywhere. And until that happens, I would not personally want that to be the standard. But once that does happen, then yeah, that would be great.
I can just look forward to the day when I don't have to worry about my computer breaking down or something breaking down or upgrading hardware, and we just play in the cloud. And I can play on my big TV. I can go to my bedroom and play. I can stop outside on my bike and play on my phone, and it's all streaming and it's all done in the cloud with NVIDIA or AMD's GPUs sitting in some server farm under the water or in Iceland somewhere. And I think that's awesome. That takes out so much headache. But I can imagine the next generation of, maybe not the next generation of kids, but maybe Antoine's grandchildren will never know what a computer is, or will never know what a Switch is, or a PlayStation, or an Xbox is, because those things will only have died by 2030, right? Or something like that. So it's interesting.
You just need a monitor with a keyboard and a mouse, and you're good.